Hello, all you ghosts and goblins out there. I'm Ashton,
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Sean.
and we are Night Scholars, exploring the defying world, cryptids, ghosts, ghouls, and all things supernatural. Tonight, we will be talking about the most cruel and malignant of all uncanny beings that trouble mankind, the Nuckelavee. So, before we get into this very growing cryptid, how are you guys doing today?
Well, you had us research this thing, and that kind of screws with a person's mind. And of all the things we've researched, this one is the most messy.
You don't like the meat horse, Sean?
The fact that you had to call it a meat horse is just not okay. And I thought
Well,
that weird vampire thing that could rip itself in half to hunt its victims was bad.
The Monongal?
the Mononon Golf, for those of you who are cultured.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
the
she said.
one that I had to pass the intro off of.
Yeah. So the form of this thing is it's really just awful. So it is a demon who, unlike many of the others, actually has a physical form, and it is kind of like this really screwed up looking center where the bottom half is a horse. The top half is kind of a human, except the head just kind of rolls between its shoulders, is about to fall off. And the head is also 10 times bigger than that of a normal man.
Ten
Uh,
times.
right?
I just thought it was bigger. I didn't realize it was that much bigger.
Yeah, I thought it was like just slightly bigger.
I thought he just had a
Like
Oh,
that's
big
not the
no.
head.
right head.
It's not supported. And the arms are like very, very like long and spindly.
Yeah, I see
And
that in the art.
yeah, and like it's skinless and has these yellow veins that pulse with black blood and muscles are throbbing
Yeah, I think it
and
not having skin is the worst part.
oh yeah, I was gonna get that, and like not only that, but like it also the horse is also skinless.
You got this weird cyclops horse with a humanoid looking thing with long arms and a way too big a head, and we're supposed to be okay with this.
Oh, and don't forget that the one-eyed horse also the eye is like basically on fire.
Yep.
But
Andrew,
to
I
make
hope
it
it's doing fine
kind
too.
to make it kind of cuter, it has fins because it to live in the water.
So Ashton's gonna draw a chibi form of this thing, is what I'm hearing.
New merch.
Oh, I think also, if I'm reading this correctly, that it has like a whale-like mouth, so I'm just like picturing it opening like really, really wide, just to like look that much more like terrifying.
the the human part or the horse part?
Yes.
No. And this thing is primarily, I suppose, only sightings that I've seen for it are the Orkney Islands of Scotland, part of Orcadian folklore.
Yeah, yeah, the same thing.
A horseman of Orcadia is what I keep referring to. I've seen
So,
similar creatures, but nothing quite this dastardly.
Yeah,
yeah,
so the possible origins for it, they do think potentially it could be a kind of combination other mythology. So, uh, a mix between Odin's horse, uh, Sleipnir, if I'm pronouncing that correctly,
mm,
that he
Close enough.
used to travel to the world of the dead, Hel. And Hel, who is the goddess of the underworld and also the namesake of it, also rode a three-legged horse during times of pestilence and disease. And so they're kind of thinking that the Nuckelavee could be a smash up of the two
that makes
because,
sense.
yeah,
That's what I found too. Oh, was Anglo-Saxon origins, but it's an Anglo-Saxon creature, but with definite Norse influences.
yeah. Andrew, do you want to go into what this thing does? and why it is so terrifying to the people of the uh, Orkney Islands.
Yeah, so this guy here, besides looking absolutely like the last thing I would ever want to see in my entire existence, it does a few things, right? It has quote extensive evil powers. It influences events around the island. Its breath is toxic. It could wither crops, it could cause a drought, it could cause disease, and even plague.
So your breath,
Oh no.
not that bad.
Oh no. Ask your sister.
Ooh.
I have no idea if you even have a sister.
I do, and she listens to this podcast.
Oh no, I'm gonna cut that.
It's not biological sisters who can keep it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, this dude's pretty awful. He you know, causes disease. He can kill crops, cause droughts, and apparently, if you burn seaweed to create kelp, you can enrage him, and he will go into an absolute fit of rage, and he will kill fields of cattle.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that burning seaweed to create kelp, because I was very confused by that,
Hmm.
is that that actually refers to the practice in the 18th and 19th centuries where kelp referred to the soda ash produced from burning seaweed.
Mm.
And that ash could be used to make glass and soap. And the byproducts were also used as a food source for people and livestock as fertilizer. Um,
Oh,
I was
and
hoping you would bring that up because that fascinated me. That kelp wasn't always kelp.
right, it's like, well,
Like
isn't
very,
kelp seaweed?
so I was thinking, isn't kelp just like another plant?
Yeah,
it is, and seaweed would hurt it, but it would be more specifically the ash. Ash would be the best thing to use to sustain that isn't water, because like most things, running water is a detriment to it.
Hmm.
Good tip for all our listeners: if you're facing evil, get near running water. Evil hates
well,
running water.
specifically with this one, freshwater, because it does live in the ocean and can
Uh-huh.
survive in the ocean. I think one of like the most fascinating things about this creature to me is kind of like the story of this constant battle throughout the year between good and evil, evil in the form of the Nuckelavee and good in the form of the Mither of the Sea. And I think that it's just really cool. So basically the story is that during the winter months, the Nuckelavee is going on a rampage, spreading this disease. Mortishing is responsible for the killing of the crops, is basically making everything dead and bringing sickness to the village. And during this time, this Mither of the Sea is getting stronger and stronger until eventually in the spring she is able to take back over the land and bring the Nuckelavee back under the ocean and is able to restore the land once again.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of like fascinating because, like, she's doing all this good works, but she can only hold on to it for so long. So while she is getting worn down, she has a rival named Terran who is supposed to cause severe winter storms, and he is able to take back over. And when he takes back over, it releases the Nuckelavee once again.
Ah, okay.
Okay,
That actually,
that's all right.
it's very interesting. The whole these kinds of things to explain like the changing of the seasons.
Um, now, here's a, a terrifying thought for both of you. This is what the Nuckelavee looks like on land. We have no idea what it looks like underwater. It's implied that it could shapeshift better on land.
Hmm.
So, could it be this form is more terrifying on land, or you think it's worse underwater?
Probably underwater because, like, on land, it's probably trying to blend in, and that's its best attempt at a bastardization of what he thinks a horse would look like.
No, that's fair. Um, he's like I know on land he's pretty awful looking. Like, did you know that like the top of the horse is 6 feet? Meanwhile, the rest of his body brings it up to about 9 feet tall.
Yeah,
Another crazy
that's
thing
not
to me is
okay.
this thing literally weighs a ton, like 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, and not to mention how strong it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anything with that much mass is it's going to be just seriously strong, even like despite the mystical properties of it.
Yeah, I have seen two different reports on it, on whether or not the man grows out of the horse or is on the horse, but I do think that it growing out of the horse is the typical most because it's not like a real centaur where the head is human, like it's literally like a human body growing out of the back of this thing.
Yeah, and I've never seen any depictions of it being able to step off the horse. So,
Yeah,
and I don't see any.
but
I don't even see any like art depictions of it having human legs. It's just the human torso and head, and then just on the back of the horse, like connected to the back of the horse.
Yeah, I think most people who do not live in the area probably all go off of the same sighting that was reported by a man called Tomas. Do either of you have that story in front of you?
I do not.
I think you should.
Oh, I don't have the full story, but I can give a little bit of a summary of it. So, Tomas in the winter was walking near the beach when he ended up seeing something that he couldn't quite make out what it was. He continued on his route and was able to confirm his worst fears that the thing that he saw was in fact the Nuckelavee. He saw this creature and knew that he needed to start running, and he wasn't really sure if he was going to be able to outrun it, but he heard that it was scared of fresh water. And so he jumped across a stream and was able to save himself because the Nuckelavee would not cross.
No, so that's where the because out here the countermeasures for it is to cross the stream to get rid of this thing.
Yeah, which I do think is interesting. Like, I'm not quite as updated on my Lord of the Rings as I should, but isn't there a scene where they know that they're going to be able to get to uh the elf kingdom so long as they're able to make it through the water?
Yes, that she summons the spirit of the water to destroy the current mounts of the race.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm really wondering how much like origin overlap there is. Like if Tolkien kind of got it from there.
I mean, maybe.
Possible. He did a fuckload of research.
Yeah.
The man invented an entire language and then translated it to English. To write his story.
What
Yeah.
a nerd.
He definitely had a lot of love for the story he was telling.
He did.
So not only will it not cross streams, right? But it won't even come ashore when it's raining. So if it's raining, you're just safe from this guy.
Which is nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's one less thing to worry about. So I guess when you go out, just do it in the rain. Or if you're gonna burn seaweed, I guess make like a covering and do it while it's raining, and that
Yeah.
should keep you fairly safe, I assume.
The Orkney Islands and Stardew Valley, the two places where you appreciate rain the most.
Oh yes, I love not having to water my crops because I'm sure you and Kayla have seen that I plant a lot.
Yes, that is why we made sprinklers for you. Anyways,
So right, a couple times a month, Abigail goes out and waters all the plants for me. Right, hey Ashton, what was that guy's name again? That ran from this thing.
Tomas.
Timos. So in all actuality, I do kind of wonder about this thing because like it's a horse, right? Or part horse.
Mhm.
It should be incredibly fast, and if he was able to jump a stream, I feel like this thing should be able to jump it, right? Or maybe it's just the aversion to fresh water in general that stops him from even attempting. Do we
Maybe he
know?
doesn't like being clean.
Maybe. Maybe it makes them melt like
Like, oh,
witches. Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would ever want to see this creature in my life.
yeah, I don't think
No,
so.
definitely not.
I do find it interesting just how many stories like this. Like, I feel like this one's kind of unique with the whole like Mither of the Sea, Terran, and the fact that this one does come onto the beach. But we do have so many creatures and like just this overall fear that has been so innate for so long of the sea, the ocean, and all of the terrors that live within it.
That's fair. Like there's also uh like on the article here, it has similar creatures and it has the Kelpie as similar to this thing. Which one, rude, the Kelpie is much prettier than this thing. But again, you know, uh horse in the sea with magical abilities that may or may not kill you. Would probably kill you if you're unlucky, I guess. Yeah, no, this I mean just the sight of this guy is just unsettling.
Right. Like he instantly brings dread. Like you know what this guy is about when you see him.
Yeah. I do not want to see the flesh horse. Or the guy on the back of it either. He's also awful. But even like just like looking at the art depictions, yeah, this thing is it's pretty terrifying, which I know translates great to an audio medium, by the way.
But seriously, if this is your first time hearing about this thing, do look it up because
You should really see
It
this
is
thing.
just a.
It is awful. But I guess with that, guys, Sean, do you believe in this guy?
You know what? I'm willing to give this thing the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure how you can think of something this deeply disturbing and malicious without having some point of reference. So yes,
Okay, at least something similar, right?
yeah. There's been enough accounts of similar creatures throughout Germanic culture that I'm willing to say something like it exists.
All right. What about you, Ashton?
I'm going to say no, that I think that there are a bunch of different stories of things similar to this that they could have put together as a good way of trying to figure out why everything is so terrible for a good solid half of the year.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Uh,
What about you, Andrew?
I don't necessarily think I do, but also I hope it's not real.
Right.
Because I ever go to Scotland, I do not want to see this guy. Like, I think that would be one of the worst things you could ever see. Is this thing not even because of what it does, but again, just because of what it looks like.
Yeah. Ignorance is don't go during the winter months.
Do what?
Ignorance is bliss. Go during the winter months.
Uh, and that thing is, I don't run very fast. I especially don't think I got outrun a horse. So I don't think I'd be able to jump over a stream. What if I just carry a bottle of water with me though? It charges at me. I just start splashing it. Maybe that would work. But
I started splashing.
yeah, bring the super soaker. Just started blasting. But
Oh my! Could you? That would be so fun. Getting down this terrifying crypt with the super soaker.
Just sitting, oh man, here it comes, gonna start pumping the gun to build up the pressure.
Hey, if you ever run into Nuckelavee, a scary little horse, a scary big horse, just bring out your super soakers. Do try
Exactly.
this at home.
Thank you again, our ghosts and goblins, for listening to the Night Skies. You all be good to each other. Don't answer the scratching at your window.
Or do.
But most importantly, stay safe out there.
Good night.